Haunt Squad is on all of your favorite social media sites. You can find us at facebook.com/HauntSquad, twitter.com/HauntSquad, instagram.com/Haunt_squad, and search Haunt Squad on YouTube for podcast episodes and investigation videos. Stay spooky with Haunt Squad, Haunt Squad, Haunt Squad, Haunt Squad, Haunt Squad.
In a world filled with supernatural phenomena, 3 explorers of the unknown answer the real questions concerning the field of paranormal investigation. Vinny Gomez, Natalie Jane, and Mike Wolfer guide you to the depths of paranormal studies, creepy movies, games, and comics, and more from the world of horror and geek culture. Turn out the lights, turn on your EMF detector, and prepare yourself for the Haunt Squad podcast.
And he shoved me in the door. The devil just shoved me in that door. He pushed me in the door. I said, cut it out, devil. Then he threatened me and made me try it on. Devil said, you gonna buy that dress? I said, I'm not buying no dress, devil. And he pulled the gun. Devil pulled a gun and he threatened me and made me sign your name to a check.
And there you have it. I think there's no better way to start our demonic possession episode than with Flip Wilson as Geraldine, putting it out there the way it should be put out there.
The great Flip Wilson.
Yeah.
Hi.
Hey.
I'm Vinny.
I'm Mike.
I'm Natalie.
We're Haunt Squad.
Yes, we are.
Yes. Taking you through the world of the paranormal. Horror, comics, movies, anything else that we can think of.
Yeah, this one, it's been a long time coming.
This is creepy.
Yeah. It's scary stuff.
Yeah.
You know why this stuff scares me?
Why?
Because I was raised a Catholic kid. You know? And we're told from, I don't know, is whenever you're old enough to understand the human language, when you're Catholic, you're told, you're going to hell, by the way, if you do anything wrong. I mean, my parents never did that, but I mean, that's what they teach you.
Yeah.
The devil is out there. He's waiting to devour your soul, and you're going to burn for eternity and hellfire and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, Natalie cracking up next to me.
Well, you know why it doesn't scare me?
Why?
Because I was raised Roman Catholic.
They don't tell you that?
Yes, they do, but I'm saying it's bullshit.
Oh.
Jeez, don't you know me by now?
Well, it scared me when I was younger.
Wait, Mike Wolfer? Scared?
No. Yeah.
I'm sorry, I don't believe it.
Yeah.
This is all a story.
Yeah.
Folks, no, there's no possible way.
Yeah. But, you know, they beat it into our heads, and then they put these movies out, and, you know, it creeped me out.
Yeah.
It did. You know what else creeps me out?
What?
Did you watch that show, Exorcism Live?
Ooh, no.
our buddy Nicholas Ramirez, old Matamasca, he asked us about that on Twitter, right? Said, hey, you guys gonna watch that show? And we're like, hell no, well, okay, maybe.
I was like, yeah, I have nothing else better to do. Who am I kidding? My life.
You know what's really messed up?
Yeah.
Is that you guys were saying no. I was like, yeah, I'm going to follow the group. No. And then I read on Facebook and Twitter, yeah, we watched it. Yeah, I was like, wait, you guys watched it? I have nothing now.
I watched about the first 10 minutes, couldn't take any more of it. And I'm like, yeah, I'm just going to go take my shower now.
Yeah, it was on Destination America, was the channel. It was on the night before Halloween, and it was the Exorcist house. And they were going to do a paranormal investigation. And an exorcism to finally rid that house of the evil that may not, or probably never was there, right?
Oh.
Right.
Very interesting. Very interesting.
In what way?
In the way that it really sucked. And it just showed that it was just a TV show, which I knew, you know, and anybody with half a brain knows that, it's a TV show, right? I mean, they had people not live tweeting. Well, yeah, they were live tweeting because it was a live show. There was people tweeting, can the demons get me through my TV screen? You know, this is the audience they're dealing with, right?
Yeah.
Oh, my God. You know what was really cool? They had a base station set up where they had the host, and he was kind of hanging out there, and they would cut from the interior out to the base station every once in a while.
Okay.
And he would look at the computer screen. He's like, yeah, look at the questions that are coming in over Twitter. Can the demons get me over the TV screen? Here's one from someone else who says, hey, are you guys for real? Here's one from... There was not one single damn answer to any of the questions. You know why? Bullshit! Right?
Yeah.
It was a TV show.
Welcome back. In just a few moments, the clock will strike 11 p.m., the time when Roland Doe's exorcism was complete. The bells will ring as Bishop Long continues this exorcism, hoping to clear this house once and for all.
As we forgive those who trespass against us, and lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. Amen.
Extraterrestrials, strange phenomena, missing persons, lost continents, myths, and monsters. We examine these mysteries to determine, are they bullshit or not?
Now, they had this group, I'm not sure their names, Paranormal Investigation Group, who I believe have a show of their own, I think. And they went in to do the investigation first.
Yeah.
And one thing that struck me was they had a ghost box. You know, stuff pops out of that, right?
Mm-hmm. Right.
Words come out. They had some words inside, and they're like, "Guys, lost," and then they all go out and they talk to the host. They line up out in the front yard, right, under the floodlights. And he says, "What was going on in there?" And they're like, "Well, we got some stuff on the ghost box," and the thing's in the dude's pocket, right? And it's going, "Cupcakes, meatballs." Well, it was live TV, right? So he's like, "Yeah, see, it's still spitting out words." I'm like, well, there you go. It just goes to show that
how random it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like, quick cover up. Now, let's change the subject to something else and turn that damn thing off. Right. Oh, boy.
Did I take this job for a quick buck? We may never know the answer to these questions. Next week.
They had this thing called Devil's Toy Box or something like that. It was this. Yeah, Natalie, you gave up on this, right?
I told you about 10 minutes in, I just took a shower. A very, very long shower.
Yeah, these guys were trying to, just like we do, come up with new investigation techniques.
Yeah.
So they constructed this box. It was about maybe 5 foot square. It was made of mirrors inside. And then they put this thing down in the basement. It had a lid that would close. And one investigator would get in the box with an audio recorder. They would close the lid, and he's surrounded just by mirrors, right?
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
And then he would ask questions. You know why they were doing that?
No.
Because if a demon entered the box with him, it would be trapped in the mirrors.
And we know this because...
Ba-dum-bum, right?
We know this works.
Because they effing made it up.
Yeah.
I could have gone in there and said, "Hey, listen, I've got this great new technique. Demons cannot resist jelly donuts. If you put a jelly donut in there, the demon will get stuck in the jelly and it'll be going, I love sugar."
That? You know how you know that? Because of the Millennium episode where all the demons gather in the donut shop. So they obviously like donuts. Mike, you are totally onto something.
Oh my God, I just made that up and never saw that. But you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Anybody can make up anything.
Behind that? Like, how do you know it's going to get stuck in a mirror? How do you know it's not going to deflect off the mirror and bounce into you? I thought you were going to say... I thought you were going to say that the demons would be confused, wouldn't know which body to inhabit.
Ooh!
Oh! Okay.
Maybe that's... Oh, they were going about it wrong. Oh my God. You guys, we need to go out to Lowe's. We need to buy a bunch of mirror tiles and construct a box. And put a jelly donut in it.
What happens when the jelly donut is mysteriously missing?
Well,
I ate it. I don't know where the donut is.
Guess what? I've just been possessed.
I ate the demon.
Bravo.
Oh, boy.
Bravo. Oh,
Yeah.
man. But you know what? Movies, though. There's been a lot of movies.
Yeah.
And like I said, they scared me because of my upbringing. Mm-hmm. The Exorcist. I mean, that's the first thing that pops into everybody's mind. Mm-hmm. That movie sucked. No, actually, a great movie. Really good movie. Mm-hmm. And I think the reason it resonated with people so much is because it had something in it that is in a lot of my personal picks for possession movies. It had that theme of science.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, what's real and what's not? And it seems like a recurring theme through many of these movies that they say, hold up, is religion real? Maybe that's scary in itself. For good Catholic boys like me, they're questioning whether or not it's, whatever. But I like the aspect of, hey, let's investigate this with science and see what happens. Let's go.
All right,
roll.
let's do this.
Cool.
Who's first?
I'll go.
Okay.
So my first one is The Taking of Deborah Logan. Mike
Sorry.
actually watched it with me.
I did.
He did.
I wanted to prepare for this episode because you said it was a really good movie. And
I enjoyed
said,
it.
When was it made?
2014.
And I said, no. No, I watched it.
You did. So basically, there's a woman named Mia. She's working on her PhD thesis, and she comes to live with a mother and daughter, Sarah and Deborah, which the mother is suffering from Alzheimer's disease, and she wants to document her progress. So Deborah starts showing strange behavior, but they're finding out that it's not consistent with the disease. So they're changing her medications, things like that, running her through tests. So without spoiling anything, as you know, this is a possession film.
Right.
Along with Mia came 2 other people in her crew. They start to do some research based on certain clues that Deborah's giving through her behavior, and they find out some really creepy things about Deborah's history and the history of the land and a serial killer that used to live there. It's it's different. It's creepy.
It's very creepy. And I really, really liked how it was made. It looks like a documentary that you would see on, Destination America, because these people are filming this for a TV show, basically, in a sense. That's how they're going to edit it together, and that's how they have edited it together, using all kinds of various sources of video, whether it be infrared cameras that they have set up around the house, or from their handheld cameras, or from surveillance cameras in the hospital where they take Deborah Logan when she becomes very ill. They hospitalize her. Here we go with that real science aspect. They're like, okay, yeah, right, whatever. She's possessed. No, bullshit. Let's find out what's really wrong with her. I like that. You know what creeped me out about that movie? Looking at the surveillance video reminded me of what we do. And that first person viewpoint from the handheld cameras that they were carrying around with them. And they go into a dark room, and there was just sheets over the furniture and stuff like that. And you're going, oh my God, what's under those sheets? And it just reminded me of us walking around these crazy, creepy places that we investigate. That just, it made it real for me. Very, very cool movie. And I love the fact that throughout the whole thing, well, not the whole thing, but maybe half or 3/4, it totally looks like it's just her. It's her brain. Okay, she's speaking in other languages and she's doing weird stuff. You know what? There's got to be a logical scientific explanation for this stuff. And there could be. Oh no, she's speaking French. She never knew French. Well, you don't know that. Maybe she did know French. And it's not some spirit possessing her. It was cool until they see her get up in the middle of the night. They're watching the surveillance footage from the night before. She goes in the kitchen and she's just standing there in front of the stove. And then she's standing on top of the stove. A split second.
Time lapse.
Yeah, they're looking at the time code.
Oh,
they're
that's
like,
creepy.
There's no break in the time code. What the hell just happened? And things start getting really freaking weird after that.
Yeah.
The ending is... So, yeah, really great pick. That was a great one.
Yay for me.
Yes. What about you, Vinny?
Me, I will go with my first favorite.
Oh, what's that?
Okay, it was The Exorcist 3. It starred George C. Scott.
3?
Yes, 3. George C. Scott, Ed Flanders, Brad Dourif. He plays the Gemini killer who George C. Scott is trying to capture. Well, he did. Well, it pretty much is supposed to be the second one to The Exorcist. Basically, George C. Scott was the character in the first movie. He was the police officer in the first movie. And Father Damien, who had supposedly died falling down the stairs in the first movie.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he actually wound up alive, but not knowing who he was. And apparently he was possessed by the Gemini killer who Scott killed. So it wasn't necessarily the demon.
It wasn't the same demon.
No. But Brad Dourif, everything he's in, he always winds up crying. Everything. It really, but he could do it like he'll be talking to you like, yes, and you were going down the street, and then just tears are coming down the side.
Wow.
He creeps you out that way.
Oh.
I'm not going to go through the whole movie, but I will go through some of the creepier aspects of the movie. Ed Flanders plays a priest who's friends with George C. Scott, and he winds up being hospitalized. And in the hospital, the demon or the person who, the possessor of, can travel between bodies. And the father was in the hospital, the priest was in the hospital, and over the night had his blood drained from his body and put in a bunch of cups. Perfect. There was no blood anywhere else. It's just hilarious to see the covered body, and then you see a bunch of cups sitting on the.
You know why that happened?
Why?
Because his doctor was Dr. Fibes. We'll get to Dr. Fibes on another episode. Keep going. Sorry.
I'll go one more creepy part. There's a nurse. It's in the middle of the night at the same hospital, and she hears a crackling and snapping. It's in the middle of the night. She's by herself. So she goes and checks on one of the patients, and it winds up being ice, just melting. So she goes back to the nurse's station. She's standing there, and she keeps hearing weird noises, but everything's cool. A security guard comes up, and he's flirting with her, and then he goes and does his rounds. So then she goes into a room, checks on the patient, comes out, and it's all done from like a hall down the hallway.
Oh, yeah.
She comes back out, goes into another room, and all of a sudden you just see this shrouded individual with head clippers come and just walk behind her, and the weird music. And then you find out that she had been killed, opened up, and rosary beads were stuffed into her body. Mm-hmm. Really creepy movie. Lots of fun. Yeah, it still scares the hell out of me. Even now, I'm talking about I'm getting shivers and chills off my back. That was my favorite. I have a couple more, though, but go ahead. Next.
I want to throw out Blood on Satan's Claw, 1971. That was a weird movie. It was a really good movie.
Yeah.
It was set in early 17th century England. So what was really cool was the dialogue. It was that Old English, thee and thy and thou.
Okay.
So it was kind of hard to understand, but I thought made it really cool. And it was just about this village out in the middle of nowhere, and this guy is plowing in a field, and he comes up with a skull. It's this weird skull. It's missing an eye, and it's kind of like got some meat on it, and it's really gross. And it's like, what the hell is that? It's some kind of dead animal. They don't know, whatever. After they dig up the skull, weird stuff starts happening in the village. There's a woman who is staying at someone's house, and she needs a room for the night. They tell her, okay, you have to sleep upstairs. And she says, okay. She sleeps in the attic, and there's something in the attic that's weird and scary. It's like a psychological thriller, and you're not really sure if there's really anything happening or if it's just in these people's heads. But she is possessed by something. They go to check her out, and she's screaming and freaking out, and one of her hands turns into this like hairy bird claw kind of weird thing. And then there's this girl in the village, Angel. Of course, her name's Angel. Mm-hmm. She's a little troublemaker. She's up to something, and all the other kids are kind of following her. Yeah, we're going to go do something up in the woods. Where's all the kids? I don't know. They're with Angel. Uh-oh. What are they doing? And she's got this claw that I don't know if it came from that thing that they found buried in the field, but it's like this claw. And weird things are happening. The kids who are hanging out with her, they're getting these patches of dark hair on their arms, almost like a large scab, except there's all this hair coming out of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's like the mark of Satan, I guess.
I remember that.
Okay.
And they're like, okay, we'll fix that. We'll cut that piece of skin off. And it works. But I don't know. They're going off into the woods, and they're doing crazy kid stuff, and it's got to do with the devil and blah, blah, blah. It's really weird. And I think the theme there is the times they are a-changin', you know? There's a different generation. It's almost like the fear of youth, you know? Mm-hmm. Kids are off doing their own thing, and the parents are like, it's got to be bad. Well, in this case, it actually was bad, you know? But very strange movie and very good movie. Yeah. I would highly recommend it.
Okay.
And you know what? Peter Cushing was actually supposed to be in that, but his wife had emphysemas when she was dying, so he had to back out. And they went to Christopher Lee and said, hey, do you want to be in it? He wanted too much money. Good for you.
Oh, wow. A question, do you have that?
Yeah.
Okay, we're watching it.
Yeah.
All right.
It's really good.
Cool. Okay, so my next one is, God, this is either you love it or you hate it. The Devil Inside.
Hate it. Oh, wait, didn't see it.
This is cool. It actually came out on my birthday. On my birthday in 2012, so I went to the theater to see it, which is something I normally don't do.
Because, you know, people.
All right, so basically, this story, there's a grown woman named Isabella whose mother, Maria, confessed to killing 3 people 20 years ago. So Isabella decides that she wants to find out what really happened that night. Her mother has been committed to a Catholic psychiatric ward in Italy.
Uh-oh.
Yes.
Yeah.
So she's also doing documentaries on exorcisms. So she brings her friend Michael along, who's going to be the cameraman. She travels to the hospital and also to a school where she meets 2 priests, and they can perform exorcisms, and they're going to help her. So they're going to work with her and try to find out if there's a way to cure her mother, determine whether she's mentally ill or possessed. So, now, I don't want to blow the ending because there were a lot of people that were disappointed by it, so don't listen for like the next maybe minute.
Okay, hold on. Taking my headphones off.
Okay. I was not one of those people that was disappointed. So, basically, they find out that Maria is possessed by not 1 demon, but by 4. And those demons are now transferring themselves within that group. The two priests, Isabella and the cameraman. One of the priests ends up just blowing his head off. Michael and the other priest, I'm forgetting his name, they're worried about Isabella. She's showing strange behavior. Turns out she's now possessed. She's in the hospital. They want to try to get her out of there. They get her into a car. They take off. Isabella now is attacking Michael, who's driving. The priest in the back subdues her. All of a sudden, she seems normal. Now, the cameraman, he's showing some strange behavior. He just swerves right into traffic, and I believe they hit a truck, and you just see the car tumbling, and then it goes to black. And then a title card comes up and says, visit therossifiles.com. So there was kind of like people weren't sure, like, oh, is it going to be continued on this website or not? So people were kind of pissed they felt cheated. I didn't. I was like, oh, it doesn't tie everything into a nice, neat little bow. There were plans on being a part 2, but it hasn't come out yet. I don't really know if they planned on doing that yet. It's kind of like a cult classic. It made a good amount of money the first week, and then it totally declined, and then fell off the face of the earth. It is a little gory. It is pretty graphic. The 2 priests do take Isabella and Michael to see an exorcism. Again, they're doing both science and religious stuff, trying to determine, is this girl actually possessed? And she just contorts and cracks, and it's actually kind of disgusting, but I say give it a go. There's no harm in it.
Hey, are you done talking about it yet?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. I hope you didn't blow it for the people, because I wasn't listening.
Well, okay, great.
They all die.
Yeah.
Oh, damn it.
Well, I will name off 2 more, and then I'll have my last one here. The first 2 that I had here, we've already spoken about. The Amityville Horror. Mm-hmm. I liked the first one, and I enjoyed the remake that they did. You guys just listen back to any of our past shows, you'll hear us talking about it. And The Prince of Darkness was another one that we talked about just recently. Another great movie, which really makes you jump.
Yeah.
But the one that I have, it's called A Haunting in Connecticut. Now, I know that there was a movie about it just a couple of years ago that had come out. But this one, the one I watched was from a TV show. It was actually a pilot for the TV show A Haunting. Which is actually still out now. Basically, it's ghost stories being told by real-life people, and they reenact the ghost story. And
it's the same story that's in the movie, though?
Yes, it is. I mean, they over-embellish in the movie. Mm-hmm. In the TV show, It really creeped me out. And the reason why it creeped me out so much was because they were no-name actors. I had fallen asleep on the couch, woke up, and watched this thing, and it scared the hell out of me because I didn't know where I was at the time when I woke up. So whenever I watch it, I get this uneasy feeling. Basically, it's about a family that moves to Connecticut because their son has a cancer or something like that, some sort of tumor. So they had to move closer to this particular town that had the hospital. They buy this house that actually was a funeral home in its past. The son who was sick took the basement, and that's where they did all the embalming. Well, apparently, on top of doing all the embalming, there was some sort of demon that lived there as well. Mm-hmm. So the demon took over this kid's body, and exorcisms are being done and all that other great stuff. Mm-hmm. I won't tell you all about it because you could either watch the movie, which pretty much follows the same storyline, or, hey, go on YouTube and watch A Haunting, the pilot episode, A Haunting in Connecticut. Really good, kind of creepy, scary, just a great story.
Did you just say that you saw the movie also?
I saw bits and pieces of the movie.
I saw it.
Oh, you did?
Mm-hmm. Compared to everything else that I've seen, no. I mean, but if you're scared easily with
like
that
me.
stuff, well, then you might enjoy it. Yeah.
As you mentioned on a past episode, you're kind of jaded.
I am. I'm dead inside.
So much. That's from hanging out with us so much. Well, my next one, 1974, the movie called Abby. It was part of the blaxploitation cycle. Really cool movie, though. Carol Speed played Abby. You know who was in it? William Marshall.
Yes.
Who was Blackula. That dude's awesome. They filmed that in Louisville, Kentucky. And during the filming of that movie, there was a lot of weird stuff going on. You know, people falling ill and a lot of strange accidents. And tornadoes went through the town and destroyed a bunch of stuff. And they're like, oh, no, this is cursed. Kind of like the same with The Exorcist. Mm-hmm. They had a lot of weird stuff happen. And, you know, actually, Warner Brothers, who produced The Exorcist, they sued the producers of Abby and said, hey, you know, like copyright infringement kind of thing. You totally rip us off. And they won. And Abby got pulled from theaters.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah, it was only out for a couple of weeks. But, you know, it's on DVD. And the basic story there was William Marshall is this archaeologist, and he's on a dig in Nigeria. And they're in this cave, and they find this little ebony box that's ancient. It's got kind of weird demon-y symbols on it. Well, he opens the box, and a demon comes out. And it goes all the way back to Louisville, Kentucky, and basically attacks his family back in the U.S., you know, like instantaneously. And it possesses his daughter-in-law, Abby. I mean, it's, you know, kind of like by the numbers kind of possession movie. You know, it starts out where she's acting a little weird, and then it turns out she's acting really weird, and then she's, you know, vomiting in people's faces, and her face is contorting, and she looked hideous, man. It's just like scary, you know, eyebrows while she was possessed. Good stuff. I mean, it was okay. It wasn't a great movie. But I love stuff from the 70s, so what can I say? It was watchable. Let's put it that way.
Okay.
I watched it with you. I thought it was good.
Yeah.
Yeah, good stuff.
Yeah, and I'm not going to blow the ending, but they kind of think William Marshall, he's the expert. I mean, he's the guy that opened the box. He thinks it's this demon named Ishu, who is like this demon of sexual energy, and he's a trickster and all of that stuff. So there's like a disturbing sexual element to this stuff that she's doing. You know, she's like coming on to people she shouldn't be coming on to, and she's like this good church-going, I forget, she was involved with the choir, church choir. So that you know, kind of made it even worse because she was a very pious woman, and she's doing these really horrible things.
Mm-hmm. I'm going with The Exorcism of Emily Rose.
Excellent movie.
That was really good.
Yeah. That one actually kind of freaked me out a tiny, tiny bit. Just a tiny bit. So this one came out in 2005. It's very loosely based on true events. The woman that it's based on is Annalise Michel. It's about a lawyer that takes on a case in which a woman, Emily, who, by the way, was played by Jennifer Carpenter. I thought it was a great performance.
Oh, yeah. She did really well.
Great performance by her.
Yep.
She takes on a case where Emily was killed during an exorcism. So the lawyer, if she can prove that the priest Father Moore, who performed the exorcism, if she can prove that Emily was possessed by a demon and that the medication she was given by her doctors, she was diagnosed with epileptic disorder. If she can prove that the medication interfered with the exorcism, made her immune to it, the priest is innocent.
Off the hook.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
However, if the prosecution can prove that she died of her psychotic epileptic disorder and the priest caused complications leading to her death, then he's guilty. What's cool is that the movie, it's told through a series of flashbacks through the courtroom while the case is going on. And like I said, I won't ruin anything about this one, but I recommend it. I thought it was really good.
That's another movie where they're putting real science in and saying, okay, look, it's epilepsy or whatever, she's suffering from some physical disorder. That's the word I'm looking for. But yeah, cool stuff. And then she does things that you shouldn't be able to do, and it's...
Yeah, there's some great scenes. In that
Yeah. And well made, again.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Good stuff. What I want to throw out there, kind of an honorable mention, Demons by Dario Argento.
That was good.
That movie was freaking crazy. It was out of control. But, it was typical Argento. I saw that in the theater, too.
Lucky.
So it was really, really scary because the premise of that one is there's this theater in Berlin, and they're showing the premiere of this movie. It's a movie about Nostradamus, and they have some props in the lobby of the theater, and people are getting, invites out on the street. Hey, go see this movie. By this weird guy. He's giving them, these tickets. And they're like, okay, we'll go see the movie. So, these props in the lobby, there's a motorcycle and there's some, samurai swords and stuff. And there's this really weird mask. And this girl kind of, tries it on. Oh, she gets a little cut on her face from it. Okay, whatever. So everybody goes in to watch the movie. And it's this movie about Nostradamus. And there's, crazy stuff going on. So I was in the theater watching a movie about people in the theater watching a movie.
That's okay.
Now, this mask that was the prop is in the movie, and the movie on the screen, somebody cuts their face or whatever with the mask, and it possesses them. Well, guess what? The woman who really cut herself in the theater, she becomes possessed, and from there, it's just freaking batshit crazy. I mean, it's just out of control.
Out of control. Yeah. Good way.
So, it's really cool to be sitting in the theater going, what if this is happening to us now and there's somebody else watching us watching the movie on the... Argento. And the gore. And it had a rockin' soundtrack. It had, Motley Crue and...
Nice.
Accept and a whole bunch of really, metal bands.
Yes.
Rick Springfield was in there, too.
What?
I don't know how Rick Springfield got in there, but... Very cool movie, but that's not the top of my list. The top of my list, you guys listening, you're going to laugh at me, but it's called The Devil's Reign, 1975. Did you ever see this one, Natalie?
I didn't.
First of all, William Shatner, okay? William
Enough
Shatner.
said.
Listen to this list of people that are in this movie. William Shatner, Tom Skerritt from Alien, Ernest Borgnine, he's the bad guy, Corbus, his name is. Eddie Albert, Ida Lupino, Keenan Wynn. Yeah, I know.
No, my jaw dropped over Ida Lupino.
Yeah, I know.
Wow.
Yeah. And you know who made their big screen acting debut? John Travolta.
What?
No way.
Everybody is in this movie. It's incredible. The idea here is that Ernest Borgnine, Corbus, his name is. He's, the head of this satanic cult out in this ghost town out in the middle of the desert. And there's a family who he's, has been at war with for 300 years. They have a book that has the names of all these people whose souls Corbus possesses, and they're all written in blood. Well, he can't really have the souls until he gets the book, and they have the book hidden. They're not going to give it to him. So this has been going on for forever, this war between them. And eventually, people begin being possessed by Corbus. They get kidnapped, taken out there, and they go through this satanic ritual that kind of makes their eyes turn black, and they're just possessed by whatever. I don't even know. I don't know what's going on. At one point, Ernest Borgnine, his face turns into a goat, and he's got big curly horns, and what?
That'll happen.
But the deal is, the devil's reign, where does this come from? This is this thing. It's this ornate glass globe that Corpus has hidden in the church. In this is contained all these souls that he is in control of.
Yeah.
But he needs that book for whatever reason. When the globe is broken, finally, at the end, all this stuff is released, and the church blows up, the roof blows off, and it's pouring rain outside. When the rain comes in, everybody starts melting. And this goes on for like 10 minutes. This long, agonizing scene of all of the demon people just freaking melting in front of your face. And it's this giant, gooey mess. This should have been in our gooey, icky, gooey episode. Really scary. Really, really scary. I guess, for a movie with William Shatner. It was actually directed by Robert Faust, or Fest, F-U-E-S-T.
Okay.
I'm not sure how to pronounce it.
Mm-hmm.
But
Faust?
he directed Dr. Phibes and Dr. Phibes Rises Again. And they kind of said that after this one, it ruined his career. It didn't get good reviews. But I liked it. I thought the effects were super cool. And they knew that the effects were super cool about, the melting thing.
Yeah.
Because they showed it so frequently throughout the movie. Hey, it's raining again, and so we get a good shot of somebody melting into a freaking puddle.
Ugh.
Just like green and yellow and brown and great stuff. The Devil's Reign.
Good stuff.
What about you?
All right, my all-time favorite possession films.
Ooh.
Wreck and Wreck 2.
Hell yeah.
Love, love, love them. I'm just going to combine them. I'm beating up the microphone again. So, Wreck came out in 2007, and Wreck 2 came out in 2009, and it's in Spanish. It's a Spanish film. It takes place, I believe, in Barcelona. So you have character Angela Vidal. She's a TV reporter, and she has her cameraman with her, Pablo. What they're going to do is they're going to cover the night shift in a fire station. And while they're there, the fire station receives a call, and they allow Angela and Pablo to go with them. So once they arrive at the apartment building, they witness a deranged woman. She's all bloody, acting crazy. She attacks one of the police officers, biting his neck. At that point, they learn from other residents that the building has been sealed off. They're not being allowed to leave.
Mm-hmm.
So, one of the residents has a sick daughter whose name is Jennifer, and she claims that she has tonsillitis. Well, Jennifer bites her mom in the face and runs upstairs, and it just goes batshit crazy from there. Everyone's being bitten, infected, and everything.
Yeah.
So they learn from another resident that the penthouse, which is all the way, obviously, on top of the apartment building, has not been... Someone used to live there. They don't live there anymore. It's been locked. If we can find the keys, we should be safe up there.
Mm-hmm.
So eventually they make their way up to the penthouse. And once they get in there, they learn that the guy that used to live there was an employee of the Vatican. They find a bunch of tapes, a bunch of newspaper clippings.
That's trouble right there.
So what do? They listen to the tapes, and they find out that he was sent there to analyze and isolate an enzyme that is believed to cause possession. They also found out that there was a young girl who was possessed. He kidnapped her and brought her to the penthouse, trying to find this cure. While he was trying to find the cure, the enzyme mutated, and it became viral.
Uh-oh.
So he decided to get out of there, and basically leave this girl there, whose name is Tristana. I should have said her name. Her name is Tristana. And just leave her. Maybe, I don't know really why, just so that she could die, maybe starve. I have no idea. So she was left in there, and they find out, oh, God, she's in here with us, She could possibly be in here. So ends up killing Pablo. And I have to say, I don't know the actor's name who plays Tristana. It's actually a man, and he's a very tall and skinny man.
Mm-hmm.
This monster is grotesque. Yeah. It is crazy. And so there's Tristana, and she takes out Pablo, and it ends with Tristana dragging Angela away. So you don't know what happened. Mm-hmm. That's how it ends. Now, Rec 2 picks up pretty much right where the first movie left off, which is great. It starts off outside where you have a doctor, Dr. Owen, and a special operations team. They're equipped with video cameras. They are now being sent into the apartment. You find out that the doctor is actually a priest who's been sent by the Vatican to get a blood sample.
There's trouble right there. Sorry.
And there's a blood sample in the penthouse. Their mission is to get to the penthouse. They find the sample. But one of the goofball agents drops it, and now they need to find Tristana to get a blood sample from her. Meanwhile, you have a group of teens who have somehow found their way into the building through a sewer. So these two groups of people eventually meet up, and they find Angela Vidal. And I'm so happy. I'm like, oh my gosh, she's alive! Mm-hmm. They find her, and they figure out through just looking at through their video camera, through night vision, that there's certain things that cannot be seen in the light. For instance, there was a bathtub full of water, and you can only see that through night vision. Oh, all of a sudden through the night vision you could see a door, but you turn on the lights and it's not there. So they're going through, looking through everything through the night vision, going through doors and stuff. That was freaky. That was really, really cool, because night vision's freaky to begin with. Well, they eventually find Tristana, and Angela starts acting really, really strange. She blows the head off of Tristana, and you find out that the demon is in Angela. And Angela leaves the building. Mm-hmm. So it's out there. Now it cuts back to how the demon got into Angela. So it kind of goes right back to the first movie where Angela gets dragged away. Tristana leans over Angela, and I don't even know what it is. This is Oopie Goopy, too. This big, huge, slug-like thing comes out of Tristana's mouth and goes into Angela. So that entire time, it has been inside Angela. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So that's really cool.
It'll happen.
Yeah, I mean, things happen. Yeah. I highly recommend these two movies. It's in Spanish. That's okay. Put your subtitles on. It's all good. Rec 3 was even okay. I thought. You liked it more than I did. I just thought it was, it took place at a wedding. It made references to the first two movies. Mm-hmm. Now, unfortunately, I have not seen Rec 4. Angela Vidal is in it again. Manuela something. She's in it again, and it takes place on a submarine. They are trying to get rid of this virus. They're just trying to bury it. So I need to see that.
Submarine.
Yeah.
Wow. I liked Quarantine.
Vinny.
Oops. I had not seen Rec.
Right.
So I saw Quarantine, and I said, hey, this is really cool. Mm-hmm. And then I watched the original. It was almost
identical.
Not a shot-for-shot remake, but it was pretty close to the source material. Mm-hmm. They did change the ending, though.
They did.
Well, not the ending, but I mean the whole point. When I saw Quarantine, it's like, oh, it's like some kind of rabies thing or whatever. And then I saw the original Rec, and it had that Catholic Church thing going on, and it was basically Satan in virus form, in a sense. Mm-hmm. Holy crap.
Yeah.
Much better idea than, whatever. Oh, Americans, they're dumb. They're not going to get it. Yeah.
What are you going to do?
Great movies, though. And I really loved the first person kind of thing with you're seeing it through the video camera. That was very cool. The action was just frenetic and great, and oh my god, there's people running and screaming, and then the camera's, you're going, what's going on? I can't see. Wait, hold it still. And that made it even scarier. I really love the fact that, again, it wasn't something that happens and no one else is aware. Everybody's aware. The media is aware. The police are aware. The fire departments, everybody's aware. They seal this building off completely, like physically seal it off. They seal off all the windows, the doors, everything, put it in a big glass bubble, in a sense, and go, no one's going in, no one's coming out. And those people are trapped with all that crazy shit happening in that building. And there's no way out. They want to get out. They're getting shot at.
You get too close to a window, they're shooting at you. Yeah.
Great movie.
Wow.
Great movie.
Wow.
Well, both of them. Yeah. So there you go. Yeah. Those are our demon possession films. Maybe not even demons. It's kind of like everything, but... I know I'm going to get home and I'm going to listen to this thing next week and go, oh no, I left out this one and this one and this one, but
Well, that's why we have the show. This is our show. We can do whatever we want.
We can always revisit.
Yeah.
Stay spooky.
Chip, how are you feeling?
I feel all right. A little sick to my stomach, but I think that's normal because we just went through something that was very intense.
And briefly, Bishop, the question everyone has, I think, do you think this worked?
I think with the power of God, anything will work. And yes, I do believe we were successful this evening.
Are they bullshit or not?